warmer weather again today. It seems like that's about it, I suppose, by the looks of it anyways, in terms of any snow for this season. Let's just see, I guess, if it changes. And what I read today, how about this one's kind of interesting. All that news about, I guess, just average people flying drones where they shouldn't. How about this one's kind of interesting, where apparently the US has been flying drones into Mexico, I suppose, and then back because they're trying to nail, for example, people transporting drugs throughout the borders. This one here says CIA expands secret drone flights to find fentanyl labs over Mexico. As a regular person, you shouldn't do that, for example, fly your drone across the border and then back, but obviously this is a different situation for officials. It says here the United States is ramping up efforts to hunt down fentanyl labs by secretly flying drones over Mexico. Apparently this has been happening, I guess, for a while, because it says it was happening under former President Joe Biden as well, and it says under the program, the CIA is reportedly not authorized to use the drones for lethal strikes, instead using them to gather intelligence on drug smuggling operations and passing it along to the Mexican officials. So that's kind of interesting with drones flying across the border, although with that said, this one here said Mexican president downplays US drone surveillance report, calls it a little campaign. So that's kind of odd anyways in terms of this, and they say apparently they think they're using an MQ-9 Reaper drone from other reports, and it says as part of this little campaign, she said, using a Spanish diminutive that appeared to minimize the issue. It was unclear whether she was referring to Trump's security policies or a broader US media narrative on targeting cartels. That was from the Mexican president, and it says the existence of covert US drone operations in Mexico has not been previously disclosed, and Reuters was unable to verify CNN's claims. Sheinbaum's remarks come amid strained US-Mexico relations as President Donald Trump pushes to designate Mexican drug cartels as terrorist organizations in his bid to curb fentanyl trafficking into the US. Trump has also deployed thousands of additional troops to the border and threatened tariffs against Mexico, the US's largest trading partner, if it fails to curb illegal migration and drug smuggling. So I guess it makes you wonder there, is it just posturing, for example? Or is it actually an effective use of, let's just say, the tech and all that? And still with that theme of cartels, it seems, you know, in most places, they treat drones like a regular aircraft, which means you can't, for example, just, quote, shoot it down. But how about this one here? This one says, AG backs bill to let cops shoot down cartel drones despite a federal ban on doing so. Amid an increase in drug cartel drones flying over the state's southern border, GOP lawmakers and a Democratic Attorney General say that local police should be able to shoot them out of the sky without fear they'll be sued. And that's precisely what a proposal by Rep. David Marshall R. Snowflake would do. His House Bill 2733 would give local law enforcement immunity from liability for damage to personal property if they are shooting down a drone they believe is engaged in criminal activity. But even if state law is expanded to allow cops to shoot down drones, federal law still bans shooting at any aircraft, including drones. Attorney General Chris May says she worked with Marshall on the proposal, said it's a critical change to the law that will directly aid in combating the flow of drugs into Arizona, saying, quote, these drones are on an increase, May said at a February 17th press conference, telling reporters that cartels have been using them to both transport drugs and conduct surveillance on Border Patrol agents. I mean, in general, is that theme I always said. It depends on what you're using and how. I think it's ridiculous that it's classified as, let's just say, some huge man aircraft in every way just because it's a, quote, drone, even if it's a toy. So can you imagine here, for example, if there was a police officer that had that same fear mentality still, where every drone that they see in the sky is something nefarious, they just begin shooting at it? So imagine that if you had, let's just say, a police officer that's in that hysteria mindset when it comes to drones, they'll just shoot at it, just assuming, okay, I see it, I have the rights to do so. That would be kind of my concern anyways, with stuff like this, with how a lot of people view drones nowadays anyways. And I was just reading more about that airplane crash at the Toronto Pearson airport, and some more videos came out. I think this was the clearest one. Holy, this is crazy. You can clearly see the plane landing, for example, and then something happened and it flipped over. All the fire and so forth came out. There's been so much theories in terms of what may have happened. For example, they say it could have been weather, for example, because there were strong winds and blowing snow at times. It could be a mechanical issue. It could be a pilot error, or as well, as they say, it could be operational factors. For example, there was constant delays and cancellations due to things like the snowstorm. So maybe somebody just got impatient and went, whatever, like just go, like that type of thing. But it makes you think again, just in terms of those topics of drones are dangerous, this and that. What the heck is going on with the manned aviation and all these accidents, huh? All right, see you guys later.